So with that, here's the part where I get to brag on y'all. The tracker, as you know, is keeping track of FAFSA completions at the school level, but at the top of it, we also are keeping track of FAFSA completions at the state level. And as you can see, as of February 12th, which is the most recent data available from the U.S. Department of Ed, we're just shy of 40% of the class of 2021 completing the FAFSA. This is still down a bit from where we were this time last year, but your hard work is continuing to shrink that gap. We are down about 8.8%. Compared to this time last year. So keep up your good work. I know that you and your students are going to be able to continue making strides in those completions. As y'all know, we also launched a First in FAFSA challenge where high schools are eligible to receive a $500 grant. Across the state, 73% of North Carolina's public high schools registered for the challenge. All 115 of our school districts have at least one high school that registered, and 64% of school districts were able to get all of their high schools registered. But when we look specifically at you all, at the priority school districts, you knocked it out of the park. 83% of high schools in our priority districts registered for the challenge, and 79% of priority school districts registered all the high schools, including Watauga and Guilford on the call today. So thanks so much to y'all for your commitment to this effort. The challenge grants are going to recognize growth and innovation as we've talked about before, but I wanted to spend some time specifically on the innovation grants. More information's on our website, and Chris, if you wouldn't mind to throw that link in the chat so folks can access it, thank you. For the innovation grant, the 42 FAFSA priority districts, y'all are going to be in your own category for the innovation grant. To submit your strategy, you'll need to complete the form that's on our website. There's a link here as well by April 30th at 5 p.m. Winners are going to be announced in summer of 2021. And again, we're going to make these slides available after today's presentation, so you'll have access to all of these links. But to determine the winner from the innovation, from the 42 FAFSA priority districts who's going to win the innovation grant, we're going to use the criteria that you see outlined here. A committee is going to use this to review the submissions. Again, this is all on our website, but at a high level, we're interested in strategies that are innovative, that are student and family centered, data driven, actively engaging partners in their approach, and have equity at the core of the work. We know y'all have been working hard to serve your students and families, and we're really excited to lift up and celebrate the impressive and impactful efforts that you're doing at the local level. Let me turn things over to my colleague, Chris Charbonneau, who serves as our Director of Advocacy and Engagement at My Future NC. She's going to share an opportunity that's available through our partners at Latinx Ed. Chris?
Hi, good morning, everyone. We have heard from a lot of you in terms of having greater assistance and support available for individual questions, tricky situations for our Latinx students and their families. We have partnered with Latinx Ed and their College y Consejos program to offer virtual FAFSA assistance for Latinx students, their families, and counselors from February 21st to March 7th. That began over the weekend and will go all the way through Sunday of next weekend. The daytime hours are really available for counselors and their students. If you have somebody coming into your office, or perhaps you're linking up with them online and they have those questions, you can call as kind of a hotline support. There are bilingual offerings for students and their families during the evening and Sunday night hours. And I've also included a link in the chat for the virtual assistance. They have a Calendly that's up that you can request for 15-minute or 30-minute sessions. The other piece I think is really important is that they are offering, if you link to the next slide, they're offering their College y Consejos programs. For those of you that are not aware, this is a really great initiative and program to be able to look at your either first generation or your Latinx students that could really use some mentorship and support along the college going process. This is something that starts in 11th grade. We are also opening it up to 12th graders this year, even through this mid-year, to help support them in that process. I've placed a link in the chat line as well for those counselors that would like to learn more about the program. You can either check out this link and there you can schedule a chat, or as well you can nominate students. You can also direct any questions as well to the link that's here. It's cyc@latinxed.org. Alice will typically be on the other line and will be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Great, thank you, Chris. Such a wonderful set of resources. I hope y'all can take advantage of those. A quick final call to action before we introduce our wonderful speakers and head off to our Zoom rooms. Again, if you have any questions about Finish the FAFSA, that's the resource where you can get access to student level data through the CFNC Professional Center. You can reach out to outreach@ncseaa.edu with any questions that you may have. For any of you who are joining us from a CIHS school, know that we recognize data have been a challenge on the tracker given how seniors are defined differently across CIHS schools. We plan to hold office hours with educators from CIHS schools in the near future to really help inform year 2 of the NC First and FAFSA initiative and explore innovations or modifications that may be possible on the tracker to best meet your needs. Once a date is set, we will get that information out to y'all. But know that there's a Q&A on the ncfirstandfafsa.com website that details how the data are being used for CIHS. So feel free to reference that or to reach out to us with any questions that y'all might have. And then finally, again, well, one more note, sorry, the tracker is updated weekly. Did want to let you know that we are starting our leaderboard. We posted for January and early February. The leaderboard, however, is only updated monthly. And so the February leaderboard will be available the second week of March. And then finally, just here's my contact information again. Feel free to reach out to me for any questions or support y'all might need, whether it's accessing the Google folder. If you'd like for me to join a conversation around FAFSA completion at your school or district, happy to do that. And certainly, please do feel free to send us the good work that y'all are doing locally. We are looking for good news and approaches to lift up in our newsletter and webinars. So don't be shy about sending your good work our way. And with that, I have done something. There we go. Okay. With that, I am going to introduce our speakers for today. We have folks joining us from Guilford and Watauga. From Guilford, we've got Dr. Clinton Wilson, who attended the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, where he received his Bachelor's of Science in Exercise Sports Science and a minor in psychology. And he also attended NC-A&T, where he received his Master's of Science in Counseling and his doctoral degree in Leadership Studies in Adult Education. Clinton served as a school counselor with Guilford County Schools after he completed his master's and is currently serving as the supervisor of high school counselors for Guilford County Schools, where he supervises over 90 counselors. His mission is to aspire to inspire before he expires. Thank you, Clinton, for joining us. Nicole Webster has served as school counselor at the Early College at Guilford for the past 9 years. She's worked in the North Carolina public school system for 24 years, educating and equipping students to become productive citizens. She earned her Bachelor's of Arts degree in elementary ed from NC Central, later relocated back to her hometown in Gastonia to pursue her master's degree in counseling from Gardner-Webb. She furthered her education by attending the University of North Carolina at Greensboro's Advanced School Counseling Program and earned a postmaster's degree. Mrs. Webster was recently named Guilford County Schools' first school counselor of the year. So congratulations, Nicole, and thanks for joining us. Jennifer Lackey is a school counselor at James B. Dudley High School. She's been a high school counselor for 11 years and served as a middle school counselor for 5 years prior. She's a native of Greensboro and received her undergraduate degree from UNC Charlotte and her master's in school counseling from NCA&T. While sometimes challenging, she really enjoys what she does. It's never a dull day in the life of a school counselor, according to Jennifer. And I'm sure there's folks on this call who would agree with you, Jennifer. Desire Spurgeon is currently the college advisor at Dudley High School. 2019, she graduated from UNC Chapel Hill with a bachelor's degree in psychology and neuroscience. This is her second year serving at the great James B. Dudley High School through the Carolina College Advising Corps program. And our friends in Watauga, we have Laura Turner, who is serving as Gear Up Coordinator for Watauga County Schools in Boone. In this role, she serves students in grades 6 through 12 across 5 schools and is involved in academic and career counseling, leadership development, and support for students, teachers, and families. She has her Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from NC State and her Master's of Arts in Professional School Counseling from Appalachian State. She also completed her graduate certificate in school leadership from App State. She has experience as a professional school counselor working with students at elementary, middle, and high school. And as a professional school counselor, Laura views advocacy for both her students and the profession to be of paramount importance. Thank you, Laura, for joining us. And last but not least, we've got West Calbreth, who is an App State graduate who majored in elementary ed and graduated with a master's in education from Winthrop University. He has 10 years of teaching experience in kindergarten, second grade, and middle school ELA, mostly at Title I schools, and 6 years of counseling experience at Title I elementary and K-8 schools, 4 years at the high school level. Wes served 2 years as a multi-tiered systems of support specialist in Charlotte and is published in the area of peer mediation. He enjoys Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and knitting. So thank you again to all of you for joining us today.